Things never go the way you expect them to. And that's both the joy and the frustration in life. Now, so many men feel frustrated about this and they try and fight it, which only makes it worse. It's kind of like compound interest. It just keeps building up in the background. And before you know it, you're snowballing out of control. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to manage anger and frustration. I've observed three main types of men regarding frustration. The first one, he holds it in and he keeps his calm on the outside, but he's screaming and cursing and beating himself up on the inside. The second is the man who holds it in and completely tries to push it to the side. He looks calm from the outside and he tries to talk himself through it by constantly justifying why things are going to be okay. Now, the last man is the one who seems like he has little bouts of Tourette's, nicknamed maybe the hothead.
Dinner right after you eat this!
And is someone who is to stay clear of if he's got something in his hands, as it may become a projectile very soon. He may normally be calm and collected until this frustration kicks in. And when it does, he's a completely different man. For many years, I was the first type. People would mention how calm and how patient I was in situations, although they really had no idea what was going on inside for me. Now, it doesn't matter what type you are, as you can always begin to change this. Frustration always gets a bad rap, is seen as a negative emotion. And as you know by now, negative and positive are based on perception. Frustration is just an emotion. Being frustrated can be both positive and it can be negative, depending on how you choose to view it. Most often than not, frustration and confusion come hand in hand. The interesting thing about confusion is that in order to be confused, it means that we don't know or we don't understand what's happening in front of us. So when you are confused, your brain's neural networks aren't connecting with each other. So confusion. And this confusion occurs when these thoughts travel down the neurons and they get stuck and they start searching for somewhere else to link. Now, most people don't like being confused, so it makes us frustrated. Being confused means you're about to learn something new. Now, if you already knew it, it wouldn't confuse you, right? And those thoughts and those neurons would head straight down the familiar path. But because you don't know it, they get stuck. You need to be confused before you can learn anything new. You know, it can't happen any other way. What many people do when they do get frustrated is they give up and they complain it's too hard or that they can't do it. No shit. If you're doing something for the first time, it's unrealistic that you're going to nail it in the first attempt. So this unrealistic expectation that we should nail it or that it shouldn't be this hard is causing us to be frustration. Confusion plus frustration is the fuel that can lead to a development in some kind of innovation and some useful idea. Take the Thomas Edison, for example. Do you think he would have been a little confused and frustrated after the 9,999th attempt of trying to do the light bulb? Of course he would have. And this frustration led him to try again until it happened. So confusion equals learning something new, plus frustration equals a breakthrough. This is how frustration is useful and more importantly required if you want to make a difference in your life, if you desire to change your life. Now, this would have been quite useful to know during school, I'm sure. Like most of the topics that I cover on this channel, we don't generally get taught this shit at school, and I feel the world would be a completely different place if we were taught this. If you have children, I highly recommend passing on this knowledge to them, especially that being confused means they're about to learn something new. Now, as I touched on just before, frustration is the result of an unrealistic expectation that is unmet. Now, similar to anger, right? It is defined as the feeling of being upset or annoyed due to being unable to change or achieve something. These can be unrealistic expectations of yourself, of others, of technology, of mechanical things, and again, literally just about anything. Red lights, for example. These frustrations that you are holding on to and that you are having right now might be something that you call a problem. Now, a problem, by definition, is a matter or a situation regarded as an unwelcomed or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome. In simple terms, it's something we want to fix. Fixing and problem solving is a masculine trait. This is why frustration can seem so bad in relationships. As men, something or in a situation gets us frustrated and we want to fix it right away. We want to work through it and we want to get to the bottom of it and we want it resolved, right now, straight away. The feminine, on the other hand, is the opposite. They want space, they want time, they want support, and they don't want answers. This lack of wanting to fix and resolve it from the feminine adds to our frustration because we don't understand, aka confusion. So bingo, you're just about to learn something new. Now, what causes this is that you have a positively charged illusion of what you think should be occurring at this time, but it isn't, and you feel powerless or unable to achieve it, which is obviously fueled by small unconscious self-doubt of whether or not you're going to be able to overcome it. As everything in this universe is balanced, the thing you want or the illusion in your mind is the positive charge. As I've mentioned multiple times before, as you are the intelligent and genius being that you are, you call up these negative charges from your mind, and so you can balance it out now with the negative charge of feeling unable to achieve it or frustration that you can't change the situation. Simply put, you have an idea in your mind that something should happen, which is positive. And because it doesn't happen that way, we balance it out by creating a negative charge in the form of frustration. So, for example, we have a red light and the red light shouldn't happen. And we create a negative charge, which is frustration, to counterbalance, to bring it to neutral, the positive in the middle line, because everything's balanced. And so viewing a situation in this way with these negative charge glasses is blocking you from seeing those solutions to this. When you remove the glasses and you remove the negative and positive imbalances, you'll see the solutions without the blocks. Have you ever been so frustrated about not being able to get something to work that you can just feel it getting to you? Right? So you just walk away, you calm down, and you go do something else. Once you calm down, the solution just pops into your mind. You may be looking at it from a different perspective, and it's like, oh, that's how you do it. This is exactly what happens when you're looking at the world through these glasses of frustration. When you take the glasses off, you can see the world for what it is, and you're not just seeing the negatives. This is why things snowball. When the glasses are on, and you're looking at these things that are making you frustrated, and they do make you frustrated. Things that normally wouldn't make you frustrated, but at that moment they do, just like a red light. And when it comes to these problems, right? Problems don't solve for two reasons. Firstly, a lack of data, or secondly, an imbalanced charge in the mind that's keeping you from seeing what you need to do to solve the problem. Now, a problem is always created with a solution. It's the law of the universe, law of polarity. There are always two sides to the equation. There would be no such thing as a problem if we didn't have a solution, right? You wouldn't know what a problem is if you didn't know what a solution was. Just like you wouldn't know what up was if you didn't have down. You wouldn't know what happiness was if you didn't have sadness. So to circle back for a moment, when you balance out these heightened levels of frustration, you'll be more aware of any confusion that comes into your mind, and you can use this to help you find the solution. So confusion without frustration, or even very low levels of frustration, is useful. Confusion that leads to high levels of frustration is causing you so much unwanted stress that unfortunately more often than not flows directly onto the people that we care about the most. We project them onto that. And so what we really need to do is to balance out these charges so you can feel lighter and you can feel less frustrated when it comes to this. And so when you can take off the glasses, then you can see some practical steps to move forward. And one of the simple ways to ask, or the questions to ask to help with this frustration, is asking yourself, what am I expecting to happen that's not happening? And that's the unrealistic expectation. Frustration comes from an unrealistic expectation. So to recap all of this, just understand that if you're getting frustrated, you're not getting frustrated at the thing, you're getting frustrated at your expectation of the thing. And so when you can lay that expectation that's unrealistic, because it's unrealistic because that thing's happening, right? So you lay that down, and then you can see the world for the way it is without this frustration, and just makes it easier for you and you feel lighter. So let me know how that video goes. There was a lot in there. You might have to go back and rewatch that. But like this video, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.